What's going on? Today we have I don't think I have a video yet of a PS5 Pro. We're doing the HDMI port on this. I don't know if you can see it, but the little tab is messed up there in the middle. I don't think I put a Pro on here yet, so we'll just go ahead and disassemble it and stuff and show you the differences on this versus a normal one. So yeah, just follow along. So some of the new Slim models are also set up in a similar way to the Pro. Like disassembly and stuff like that. So you gotta take all the screws out just like a normal PS5 you would. This guy right here just kind of pops out, pops up, and then it like slides out from under here, which is kind of hidden. So if you didn't know that that was there, you could have broke that. But all right, I don't remember where I was because I was checking a customer out here. Anyways. The warranty sticker's right here, so we're just gonna disassemble it. Warranty sticker's right there. Just go ahead and take that sucker off, throw it out. I think it looks trashy whenever you leave it on there. Also, warranties have been illegal since the 70s, so or warranty stickers, I should say, have been illegal since the 70s. You have a right to repair. All right. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and then of course the fan screws here. We can go ahead and take those out. The fan screws are the same as the fan screws on the PS5, the normal PS5s. We're going to take out the SSD cover here, which is just a normal screw. Sticker for the fan, and we can undo the fan here, pull that sucker out. You don't necessarily have to undo this one. The screw right here, you can just leave that one in there. Just kind of lift up carefully. Oh, I forgot this screw. Look at that. That's why I said carefully, because if you try to lift up too hard, you forget a screw, you could have broken it. So there you go. Boom. Alright, just kind of shake it back and forth and it comes off. You need to unplug this right here. Unplug this battery, the CMOS battery or whatever here. You need to actually take it off because there's screws under it. So we'll set that to the side. Also, the heatsink on this one, you got to take it off. Best thing I can say is to use a plastic prying tool for that. And just kind of get under the side right here. You don't want to like bend it too much though, because you don't want it to warp and sit weird. So just kind of squeeze the piece of plastic at an angle towards the side, kind of like I just did there, and it'll come right up. You do have to take that heatsink off in order to access a bunch of the screws over here. So, and then we're going to take off the cables right here and unroute these wires and stick them under this panel so they stay out of our way, hopefully. Alright, now we can start taking all the screws out. There's a screw connected to the motherboard right here. You don't have to take it off on this level, but might as well because it's already visible. So that's that top screw there. And there are a couple variations of screws in here, different sizes and different colors. This one should be a long one. Oh, wait, my bad. Don't listen to me. This one right here is the long one. Yeah. Don't listen to me. Take that back. Edit that out. Definitely don't stick the long one right there. Or destroy it. Also, there's a screw like up here, which is kind of awkward compared to the rest of the screws being on the outside. Just like the normal PS5s, there's a ton of screws. And then we have a black screw right here, aka a plastic screw. which is what the long one is right there too. But alright, now I should be able to pull up on this panel here. You don't wanna like crease it back. You wanna kind of like pull up and out. You can even take something here and just lightly push up on it. Get it close to the edge here so I have more leverage. Boom. Pop that sucker off. Now that that's off. See, we would have a screw right here, but that's the one I said was visible from that side. The other screw's right here. That is not visible. And then of course we have the bracket here. Obviously if you're using power tools to do this too, like I am, you need to be very careful. You don't want to like drop it on there or something. That's why I use a lightweight one, so that, oh look at this, just comes off. That's ridiculous. Bad design, it just popped right off. Alright, we just undo this little ribbon cable here. You push the gate back and pull it out. Now we can start to get the motherboard out. What we do for this is, because it's a thicker board, I think it might be thicker anyways than the normal original PS5s. Just kind of go around and kind of pop up on it. This almost looks exactly like the slim board, it's just a little bit bigger. And there we have access to this, and the HDMI port is right here on top. So now we're going to go ahead and do the HDMI port repair on it. Alright, I'm just going to heat it up like I would a normal PS5 and that port. I did a cool angle this time. You can actually see behind the port a little bit. I feel like that's a pretty good angle there. This board is a little bit thicker, like I said, so it takes a hair longer to warm up, but not too much. As you can see, flux is already melting. Let that flux get down in there. I'll go ahead and skip to when it starts. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll make this a long format, super long format tutorial type of video. It's not gonna be super long, it's just gonna be longer. Do the full disassembly and then full port repair here, so you'll just see how long it takes for it to. Also, it depends on like what temperature of the room that you're in, because if the room is a bad temperature, too cold, then it's going to take longer. If it's warm, it might come off quicker, but then it would cool down. It would take longer to cool down. So, and no one ever talks about the temperatures. Maybe they want to keep it a house secret or something. I'm using 480 degrees Celsius, and my airflow is on max, but this is not like a this isn't like a big industrial soldering hot air and soldering iron station. This is actually one that you can buy fairly inexpensive on Amazon, and you could use it yourself. I'm pretty sure it's around 40 bucks maybe. Like, it's really not bad at all. Like I said, it takes a little bit longer with this board to heat up. It's actually quite a bit longer, I would say. Maybe like an extra. How long has it been? Maybe like an extra 30 seconds. I guess that's not that long in the grand scheme of things, but it just feels like a long time. Which means that this board is going to take longer to cool down as well. Alright, we got the old port off. Keep the airflow steady. Pop the new one on. Now see the footholes have already solidified. Can you keep that back up? There it goes. Yeah, so that just shows you that the board is already needs more heat to it. Just the fact that when I went to put the port on, the footholes were already solidified, which means that it cooled down a little bit. From me backing off the hot air gun from the board. Right now I'm just putting solder in the footholes here. What that'll do is it'll bring the solder from inside of the holes. Also, it'll mix with that and it'll bring it up a little bit more and give it more of a strong hold. I just kind of play with it a little bit while it's on there, just so you get those pins seated on the pads there. I'm just gonna hold pressure on there, take away the hot air like I did. And once it all solidifies, I'll take the pressure off of it, let it cool down just a little bit, and then I'll check all the pins on the back of the board. I mean, this looks like a factory job, come on. Although there is some flux on there. This looks like it's straight from the factory, right? It looks great. I already checked all the pins on the back of the port. Those all look secure. What I do is I just lightly put some pressure on them. If any of them move, that means that they probably a cold solder joint, but none of them move, so the port's on there nice and good. There's the original, here's the new port, and there's the original port on the top. Now you can see pretty much up close what I was talking about with the damage being on the tab there in the middle. And then of course it's kind of split there on the bottom, but whenever it gets loose, whenever that splits on the bottom, it gets loose. So when people go to plug in the HDMI cord, it breaks that tab in the center there. We're gonna go ahead and let the board cool down a little bit, and once it cools down, we'll be able to reassemble it. Okay, I let the board cool down for a while, so it should be good now. Pop it on here. Yeah, it's nice and cool. Ooh, alright, somebody walked in, so now it's definitely cooled down. Go ahead and reassemble this. Make sure the board is nice and level, because you don't want it like sitting up or anything. When you go to put it back together, its high corners can cause the board to like snap down and maybe cause issues in the future or when it snaps down, so you gotta be careful of that. Bracket on here. Like I said, if you're using power tools, be very careful. And put in this bottom screw. So remember that top one? Well, we can actually just put the top one in right now so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. It goes right here, very, very top corner there. So that's that one. And then we'll go ahead and put this side plate back on here. Right, and I'm going to dump all the screws right here. So we know the black one goes right here. You can leave it there if you want, and we know the long one goes right here with this little plate. So if we just leave those ones there, when we get around to them, put them in. So I just do corners, sides, and then corners again, just to hold the plate in place, because you don't want it to slide. If it slides in crooked, this whole thing can sit sideways where some of the screws don't go in, and it can also cause the console to close improperly, so you don't want that. Just gonna go around and put all these screws in. Alright, so I went ahead and put all the screws back in off camera because it's just quite a bit of screws to put back in. I'm going to go ahead and reroute these first. So you want it on the inside, outside, inside, and then plug in. And these are labeled, thankfully, RW for white, and then RB for blue. Then we're going to put it under that tape there. Get it taped down, and we can go ahead and put the heat sink back on here. And you just kind of want to like get it to where it's like sitting in the right spot, because it'll let you know if it's sitting in the wrong spot. Actually looks like I just laid that perfectly down. Wow, that's well, that worked out, didn't it? So just gonna give it some light pressure here just so it sticks where it's supposed to be. That was pretty lucky though. We're gonna go ahead and slide the battery back in and mount it with those 2 pegs holding it down. Plug that sucker in. And then we can throw the side panel on here. Make sure all the connections are good. Everything looks good. Go ahead and throw this side panel on here. And as you see, I didn't have to take out the screws on it. It's just unnecessary to take those out. I would say most repair shops and people who work on their own consoles put all of these screws back in wrong anyways. So you might as well just not even take these screws out. I think I counted 9 screws, but I forgot one, so maybe there's 10 screws we have to screw in right now. Let's just count. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then of course we're going to go ahead and throw the fan back in here. Plug that in. Oop. Reroute those wires under this little clip right here. If you broke that clip, it's not a big deal because there's that sticker right there. Go ahead and put the SSD cover on, slide that on, put the screw in, screw that in real quick, and then put all of the fan screws in, large, medium, small for the last one. Slide this sucker in, so there's a tab you want to slide in this way, and then this one here just clips in right there. Slide, push down, it should just clip in there like that, and then we'll throw the side panels back on. Boom. Alright, now we're gonna go test it out, make sure everything's good. Alright, we got it all plugged up and it's going through its repair, and then it'll pull up here in a second. And as you can see here, I'm laying the PS5 down. This is how it should be with this. Oh, I wasn't even facing that. Where this logo here is facing up, and if it has a disk drive, the disk drive would be on the bottom. As you can see here, you can actually read the label. See how it says HDMI? This is how you know it's all upright. Basically, the motherboard is underneath it, so it's less likely to break. It has a better stance on the motherboard. This is the warning, just saying that it was turned off wrong in the past. So obviously, though, it's good to go. Screen's pulling up. Everything's working as it should. Once again, Reaper's Electronics, thanks for watching. And this is a PS5 Pro HDMI port repair.